Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about readability. As a web designer, one of our main tasks is to make the contents readable. And let's see if we can go through and talk about it. Um, First, we have this text over here in this page. Again, this video is created by a free editing software called GIMP, not Illustrator. So the tools and the effects that I use might be a little different. The font might be a little different, but let's see if we can explain it with GIMP. So this text is not really readable right now. So let's see if we can go through and change the text and make it more readable. So right now I have this font. Georgia is not really bad. It's a serif font. It's really famous. Not really bad, but I think the font size is not really good. So what we can do is highlight the words and actually change it from the box that pops up. If it's too small, you can't really read what's written on it. So, and also on the other hand, if it's too big, you're not gonna fit in the page. Also, you're not gonna get this chunk. You're gonna only get this small chunks every time when you read. So it's really hard to read. Um, and if it's too big, you're gonna have to scroll down a lot, and that's not really what we want to do. So let's see if we can change it to the right side. Maybe around 20 pixels might be good enough. Well, actually, this is 20 pixels. Okay, yeah, this is 20 pixels. So this is good enough, I think. So so far we changed the font size, and actually we can change the font to a serif font and see how it looks like. People say that sans serif fonts are more easy to read, but actually serif fonts are more easier. Okay, so this is not a sans serif. Sorry. So this is a serif font. This might be a little smaller because Georgia has a higher X height, but you can see that you can change the font to make it either to fit in your page, to web page. So we talked about font size, font, and also we can change the cases. Right now we're using upper cases and lower cases. So let's see if we can change this all to uppercase and see what it looks like. So I know in Illustrator there's a tool where you can just highlight and change it to all upper cases, but there's not a tool in GIMP. So I'll use a font that will change everything to an uppercase like this. So everything is uppercase, and you can see that it's not really readable. So when you're putting a large amount of text, make sure that you use upper cases and lower cases, and that's really important. Um, Also, when you're so the next thing is I talked about cases. Next, I'll talk about weight and style, which is bold and italic. You can put things in bold, but you can see if you put everything in bold, it's not really good. Make sure you don't put everything in bold. Make sure you put few words just to highlight those words to make it bold. And a big no-no is uh, using a bold in serif fonts, because serif fonts in bold is not really readable. So if you're going to use, if you want to highlight something in serif font, use italic instead, and that will make not destroy the readability of the font, the text, and you can still highlight things. So let's take off the bold. So I talked about weight and style, case, font size, and font so far. There are a few more other things that we can change, which is line height, line length, and alignment. So line height, we can easily change it by going to this left tool options, and just changing these numbers will affect maybe 13 might be good enough. If we have too much line length, it's really hard to read again, because you cannot really connect these two different sentences, and it's going to be hard. So and if it's too crowded, again, you don't have that much space, so you can't really read. So maybe around 13 might be good enough, and you have that space. So this is how you change the line height. The line length, in GIMP, you can just change it by making these text boxes shorter or larger. If you make it too big, that is not really good also, because um, you can't really read. It's really hard to read. You gotta cross your eyes from left to right all the way to the screen. So make sure you don't have this long line length, sorry, and make sure you put it more smaller, maybe something like this would be good enough. And one thing, when you change the line length, make sure you don't have something like this. You have these different spaces. Make sure you try to eliminate these spaces by changing this the line length, and maybe something like that is good. You can't have these differences, and you don't have another thing, when you do something like this, you have only one word left. It's really hard, but you don't really want to change the line length just for that one word. What you can do is you can put a cushion over there and push out the words, and do something like that to make it not really look terrible. But try not to break words like this also. Maybe it's better to change the line length again. Maybe, oops. Yeah, something like that is good. Oh, but this is, yeah, changing breaking the words is not really good. So yeah, so make sure you change the line length and make it properly, not making a lot of line differences. So that's line length. You can just change it easily. And the last thing is alignment. Um, Usually the text will be aligned on the left, because it is the nature of reading in English, reading from left to right, so it's easier to read. And if you have your long text like aligned in the center, it's not really readable, because it has all these different line length. So make sure you if you're putting a lot of text, you don't put it like a alignment. Also, the right alignment is not really readable too. It's usually better to have it on the left. And when you have similar text, um, like something like this, what you can do is in this kind of case, you can then you can change the alignment to the right. So you have this nice alignment, the space between these two paragraphs. And when you're gonna use center alignment, what you want to do is you can use a center alignment when you're doing like like for headings. So do something like that, and put it center alignment. Oops. So something like that is good. Maybe make it a little bigger since it's the title. Yeah, something like that. So you center alignment is useful in that way. So these are some techniques and skills you can use to make the text readable in a web page. So that's all for today. Thank you.